I don't know who gets more excited. And Coach Brad Bohonnan, I'll ask him this question. A kid anticipating opening presents on Christmas morning, or a baseball coach anticipating the first series of a new season? It's close, isn't it?
It's not close for me, Gary. I tell you, the next Friday cannot get here fast enough. Our kids are fired up. I'm pumped. And Mother Nature may be the only personal thing that can hold us back right now, because we're like caged animals. We're ready to rock and roll.
I know you are. You get the Northeastern Huskies in here for 3 games beginning next Friday at the Joe, 3 p.m. first pitch, Saturday a noon pitch, and then Sunday a 1 p.m. pitch. You have to play them one at a time, but as we've alluded to, this is the first series. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. Let's just go ahead and talk about this matchup, then we'll get into your club specifically. Tell me about Northeastern and tell me about this opening matchup next weekend.
Well, Northeastern's got a solid club. They're coached by, Tom Glavin's brother, and they were in a regional just 2 years ago. They opened up or played early in the season at Auburn and won a game and were very competitive and got into a regional. So, this is a program that has had some good teams and some good players, and they got some experience coming back on the mound. They have 2 of their 3 weekend starters back and a couple of older kids that threw a bunch. So they'll be excited to be outside and to not be in a gymnasium or in a batting cage. And early season baseball, you kind of never know what you're going to get with either club. So, we'll need to play well.
Yeah, you make a great point. They'll be excited to be south and get some baseball weather. So it should be a fun series next weekend. I was with you on Monday for your luncheon there at the 525 Club at Sewell Thomas Stadium, and you made it clear just what you've already told me. You're pumped. You're excited. This is year 3. You had a chance to somewhat mold the roster, as you pointed out on Monday. You got the job. That recruiting class was already in place because recruiting done so far in advance that the second class even you were trying to make up a lot of ground. But this freshman class is more one that you got to invest in. And, of course, obviously the class that comes in next year, really you've been working on it now for 2 or 3 years. But the roster's starting to take shape, isn't it?
I really like our personnel, Gary. And, college baseball recruiting, we're kind of goofy at how we recruit these kids at such a young age. But, every kid develops at a different time frame, and everybody's recruiting timeline is different. But, a lot of kids that can play at this level do start to really stand out at 15 and 16. So, yeah, in a weird way, it's my 3rd year of being the head coach at Alabama, and I really feel like the freshman group is my first real recruiting class. But, I really like our personnel. I like our team. We've got a lot of versatility. We've got a lot of talent, and we look right getting off the bus. We're physical. We're athletic. We've got stuff on the mound. Plenty of areas where we need to improve in, and we will. But it's starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's interesting. You said that you look good getting off the bus, and I think we joke about that, but it really is true in this conference. You need to look the part. I mean, with what you're going up against, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, I've seen matchups, and you have too, where one team, you just saw it. They just were a better looking group than the other team. So that's a big plus that you now feel like when you get off the bus, you look like an SEC baseball roster.
Absolutely. And, baseball is a skilled sport, but, everybody likes guys that are big and strong and fast and throw hard. And, our margin for error was really, really slim, the past 2 years. And we were, exceptionally limited in some areas. And, again, I wish we had more experience on the mound, but at least we've got guys with really good deliveries and arm actions, and they throw hard and they have good secondary pitches. And it's starting to look right.
A lot of folks that follow your program that are listening to this conversation, they know these guys anyway. But I want to ask you to inform us, not break down the entire roster, but some guys that you're counting on to be go-to guys, not just in terms of their baseball ability, but also in terms of their leadership, their experience. Who are some core guys that you're counting on this season to really help lead your team to the next level?
Well, I think the strength of our team is going to be our offense. We hit 47 home runs last year, which was the most by an Alabama team since 2010. And I think this group has a chance to hit 60 to 70 home runs, which is above average even for the SEC. And the middle of the order is going to be T.J. Reeves, Sam Prater, and Tyler Gentry, not necessarily in that order, but those are 3 guys that are all very powerful and guys that have done it. T.J. hit 9 home runs as a freshman last year. Tyler Gentry hit 13 as a sophomore last year. And Sam Prater had a really good freshman year before he missed most of last season. So, I think those three guys in a row are going to be as good of a 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, punch as anybody's going to have. So, those are three kids that they have real talent, but they also have some experience. They've all have a full SEC season under their belt. So really excited about the offense, and those are three guys that I expect to help us score a bunch of runs.
As we discussed on Monday, your club's going to be better. That's clear. The first two seasons, there were some highlights. Now, don't get me wrong, and you flashed, but still came up short in terms of getting to Hoover. And I asked you Monday, I said, I guess that's where it starts this season is just first goal to make the SEC tournament. If you can do that, hopefully you've played well in the non-conference. You've won your share of SEC games. If you can get to Hoover and make a little noise, you could potentially be in position to get to a regional, which would be phenomenal in year 3 with where this program was at. I know you don't want to get too far ahead, but is that a worthwhile goal to think that this team has the potential at least to make a regional in 2020?
Well, that is the goal, absolutely. That's why you play, is to get into the postseason, and once you get there, anything can happen. And hey, I'm not backing off. We have a really good team. We have a very good team, and as soon as I get really excited when I start thinking about them and talking about them, and then I check the polls and I see that 7 of the top 11 in the D1 baseball poll are in the SEC, and 4 of them are in the West. So, if you want to finish in the top half of the league, you have to be a top 10, 15 program in the country. And, I think it'd be foolish to slap that tag on this group.
Sure.
Seeing how we have, so many guys that haven't done it. Now, with that being said, we got a lot of talent, a lot of really good players. So, the nice thing about playing in the Southeastern Conference and playing all of those teams is at the end of the year, if you win more than your share of games against those SEC opponents, then, it'll all take care of itself. So we have a very good team. We play in the toughest division in all of amateur athletics. And, in addition to having talent, you have to stay healthy, and you got to catch some teams at the right time, and you got to get hot at the right time. And nobody's got a crystal ball for those things, but we'll be very, very competitive. And, I expect to be in Hoover, and once you get there, anything can happen.
Brad Bohonnan is with us this morning talking Bama baseball. The Tide gets it started next Friday at home with a 3-game series against Northeastern, so it's off and running. We got a call earlier in the segment before you came on from Cowboy out in Texas. I wanted to ask you about your recruiting connections to Canada, and I explained it to him a little bit, but I said I would follow up. This is something that you have built over many, many years, and it has paid dividends at Kentucky, at Auburn, and now at Alabama. So would you go in depth in how you built such a good rapport there with some coaches and some talent evaluators in Canada that's allowed you to recruit that country very, very well consistently?
Well, Gary, I learned the hard way at Kentucky. Bringing Southern kids up to a Kentucky basketball game in January really didn't work out real well for me. I figured out in a hurry I had to go up north and convince kids that Kentucky was in the South. I kind of viewed it as the southeast portion of the Midwest rather than the true South, but they didn't know any different. Over time, I developed a strong relationship with the guy that runs the junior national program up there. I recruited several Canadians, and the success rate of the kids in our program was unbelievably high. And we had James Paxton, who's in the major leagues. Andrew Albers pitched in the big leagues. Chris Bassone was a 4th-round draft pick. Tristan Pompey was a 3rd-round draft pick. So, and there were some others. And obviously Eddie Julian at Auburn had a great season last year. Now we've got Antoine Jean and Owen Diodati and Justin King, who are all very talented. So, recruiting is about relationships. And, when my people up there call and tell me, hey, I got a guy that I think can play for you, and he's really good, and he reminds me a lot of James Paxton or Andrew Albers or whoever, then that really catches my attention, and I get on a plane and go watch them. Absolutely.
When you got here, I mean, it is what it is. It was a tough time for Alabama baseball. Coach Gaspard's tenure had ended. Coach Goff was here for 1 year. The roster was weak. There was a lot of just a bad feeling about the program. So you not only had to come in and start trying to recruit, but you had to try to build stability. You had to just prove that, hey, we're going to settle in here. You're doing that now. So I'm assuming, even though Alabama always has a strong recruiting pitch, now that you are here and your staff's in place and you're in your third year, I'm assuming many more top players, and as you said too, you have to build those relationships, many more top players are listening to your pitch with much more attentive ears than maybe when you first got here. Am I right?
Yeah, Gary, we have recruited well since we've been here, but we should recruit well. This place is unbelievable, and, I tell every kid that sits down in my office that, hey, I know there was a little rough patch for 3, 4, 5 years, but if you look over a 40-year period, Alabama was a top 10, 15 program in the country. Alabama's been in the College World Series 5 times. We've been in, 24 NCAA regionals. We've had 68 Major League Baseball players. We've had a Golden Spikes Award winner. So, besides winning a national championship, anything that you can think of that you would like to accomplish individually or as a team has been done here. And all of that was done before we had this amazing $40-some-odd million stadium. Oh, by the way, we've got an unbelievable campus and student life and Alabama football. So, and we play in the Southeastern Conference. So, we have a lot to sell, and, nobody gets everybody that they want, but I don't think I've had a recruit in the time that I've been here have a bad visit. They all leave here, and they're like, oh, my gosh, that place is amazing. So, we're recruiting well, but we should recruit well here at Alabama.
Another thing I've noticed is, of course, you're affable, you're likable. I do think that means something to a fan base. But even though the results haven't been what you hope they will be, fans have hung in here. I still sense a ton of enthusiasm. Folks have told me they've enjoyed the style of baseball that you brought. They've enjoyed going to the games, even when they haven't ended with the result that they were looking for. You've really kind of rallied the fan base, and of course you got a core of guys and girls that are going to come to the games regardless. I understand that, but Bama baseball to me seems like it's really growing among the fans, and the interest is high in the program, and you're certainly to be credited for that, and you got to be excited about it.
I am, Gary, and everybody listening. I can't thank our fans and the media enough for how patient everyone has been with us. And, I've made so many mistakes in 2.5 years, and there's certainly areas that I need to continue to grow in. And, people have just been so positive and supportive throughout these last couple of years. And, the really cool thing about that is I feel a real burden. Our fans deserve a winner. They deserve an outstanding product. And we're going to make a big step forward in doing that this year. And on top of all that, I do want to put in a little plug. We're having a fan day this Saturday. We have a free clinic that starts at 10 that unfortunately is already full. But starting at 11 o'clock, our kids are going to sign autographs. We've got face painting. We've got inflatables. We'll have music and videos. And it's just a really awesome opportunity to interact with our young men. And I can't brag enough on the kids and the families that we have in our program. And I really hope everybody will come out this Saturday at 11 at the football indoor, which is just across the parking lot from the Joe attached to the Malmore building. It's just a great opportunity to spend some time with our kids.
Absolutely. That sounds like that is going to be a blast for sure. All right, before I let you out of here, you mentioned that offensively you think you've got a strong club and you've got some arm talent, but you're certainly inexperienced on the mound. You said Monday that Kyle Cameron's got the 2 SEC wins for the roster. That's it. One guy, 2 wins. But you do have arm talent, as you said. What's that like? And for Jason Jackson, your pitching coach, I guess you just have to mold this staff as you go and use the non-conference schedule. How do you get a staff ready for the grind of the SEC when you don't have a go-to guy? You don't have a lot of experience. You don't have a lot of proven arms in this league. What's that process like?
Hey, Gary, it's hard because some kids are just different when the lights come on, good or bad. And we don't have a lot of separation from, if you rank our pitchers from 1 to 12, one coach may have a guy 4th and the other coach may have him 10th or 11th. And I don't mean that in a bad way. We have a lot of guys that are doing a very good job, but nobody's just gone out and done it. So, we'll probably have several guys these first 5, 10, 15 games that have extended outings, meaning that they're going to throw somewhere between, 40 and 65 pitches. And hopefully over time, 2 or 3 or 4 guys will separate themselves from the pack. So, we'll pitch a lot of guys early. We have a double midweek. We have 5 games the first 2 weeks each. So a lot of guys will pitch. And, Jason and I have to do a good job of trying to get guys in their best roles a little bit faster this year than we did last year. And hopefully the kids that pitch will make it easy for us.
We're all excited and certainly appreciate your time, folks. Again, get out there Saturday, visit with the team, and then it all gets started a week from Friday against Northeastern with a 3-game series. And then, it's good thing about baseball. You play a lot, so you get a lot of opportunities to watch the team. Thank you so much, Coach.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Real time.